For more than 140 years, Labor Day has been a time to honor the contributions, achievements, and sacrifices of workers in America. But this year, in the wake of growing economic inequality and a government increasingly catering to billionaires and special interests, Labor Day needs to be more than a long holiday weekend. It must be the impetus of a battle cry for workers everywhere to rise up, realize their collective strength, and take their power back. Labor Day was born out of strikes and marches from those who came before us. It exists because workers refuse to be taken advantage of and exploited. That legacy is now in our hands to honor, not just with celebration, but with resolve and action worthy of the generations who fought for us. Workers must never forget the power they have to fight together for the dignity, security, and respect they're entitled to and so richly deserve.
I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you.
Unions, as you know, gave us the 5-day work week and so much more. Paid time off, sick leave, retirement benefits. That's all due to unions. It would never have happened for all of us if unions hadn't started at first. And so we are here again today with the most anti-union, anti-labor president since the 1920s. Income inequality is worsening and represents a growing cancer on our economic society. The struggles we are facing are again fierce. That is why today and every day, the Democratic Party stands with labor unions and all working people and their families. We will fight like hell to combat Trump's harmful attacks on working Americans and defend Colorado working families and their rights to dignity, security, and opportunity. Thank you.
Most of our labor force that is involved in agriculture today is immigrant. Most of that is without the right documents to be here. These folks have run into panic since Trump has come into office the second time around and has activated the full force of ICE and the National Guard and all manner of other policing agencies under this umbrella of deportation. We've seen people in our own community suddenly not show up to work, suddenly be missing from all of their normal interactions. It's incredibly heartbreaking and disturbing for someone who works in agriculture to see first the people who are the culture in agriculture be so downtrodden, be so diminished in their value. But beyond that, there's the physical reality that now we'll have crops that need to be harvested and there is no one. There will be very few who normally would show up to work, who don't feel it's safe to show up to work anymore because there have been roundups in many, many states across the country at farms, at ranches. So these are all things that are realities. We're approaching potato harvest here in this valley now. We have no idea what that's going to look like. The current statistics say that 1.2 million people have stopped showing up to work in the United States since the advent of these roundups by ICE. So our working populace is not that huge. 1 in 5 workers is an immigrant in the United States, and now 1.2 million of them aren't coming to work anymore. And a huge portion of what we eat that's grown here in the United States comes from labor, comes from the work of immigrants, and now that's imperiled. So these are all the effects that aren't heard about much. We hear about the mechanization in agriculture. The accelerators being mashed down on roboticization in potato warehouses because of things like this. We don't have labor reform. We don't have immigration reform, and so in the interim, what happens is people invest in $1 million machines and replace 5, 10, 15 workers at a time, and our communities suffer because of it. So these are all the ripple effects of that finger in your eye vote that people made when they selected Trump as this second term president. And these are the things that we're experiencing. Our communities are hemorrhaging, and our friends are being deported, and it's just a terrible, terrible situation that there's nothing that we can do but stand up and say enough, and there's not enough of that we could do. So thank you for the invite to come talk to you today.
You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you take me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. And today on Labor Day, we thank the workers, from farm workers to cooks, civil servants and teachers, doctors and lawyers, blue and white, and every other color of collar workers. Thank you for showing up at work every day to make your families, your communities, and your world a better place. It's labor that builds wealth. It's labor that pays taxes. Commissioners statewide have been meeting to strategize about what needs to be done to combat the effect of H.R. 1 in Colorado. So in the aftermath of the 900-page House Resolution 1, Colorado took a $1.2 billion hit to its current budget, which was a balanced budget, not to mention future budgets. And mainly this is through a seismic shift in our social safety net. Changes in the Affordable Care Act marketplace are already playing out. Projected rate increases are coupled with a sharp reduction in the federal premium tax credits. So many Coloradans will lose health care or be unable to afford to participate. Changes to SNAP and Medicaid are designed to kick people out of the system. They are designed to make people not be able to follow the rules to get the benefits that they are eligible for. Administrative funding has been reduced while administrative workload has more than doubled. Immediately, reproductive health and Planned Parenthood were cut out. In 2026, undocumented as well as many documented immigrants will lose Medicaid coverage. Administrative funding reductions and new red tape will stress an already taxed system. Work requirements and redeterminations are now required every 6 months, which was 12 months in the past. So now, to access SNAP, folks up to the age of 65, when it was 55 before, the homeless, veterans, and youth emancipating out of foster care will all have to have new work requirements. All 1.1 million Coloradans enrolled in Medicaid will have to prove their work, schooling or volunteerism, or prove an exemption. That's 2 out of 5 people here today. It is estimated to cost the state of Colorado $57 million in additional admin costs to implement these work and doubled redetermination requirements. Meanwhile, the feds cut administration funding to Colorado for Department of Human Services by 25%. There is not enough administrative capacity to help people navigate the expanded requirements, and that is by design. If a Medicaid applicant is disqualified from the work requirement through just cause or because of an error, they are disqualified from entering the health insurance marketplace for a year. In addition, the feds will decrease their funding share based on our error rate. It has to be below 6%. Colorado is now at 9.9% error rate with a very wonky benefits management software that doesn't work. So these programs give people the resources and resiliency to work, to keep working, to stay fed and healthy while juggling work and family and in an increasingly complicated world. And the system is against them. Require work, which we mostly agree with in a capitalist society, but take away low-income programs to support workers like childcare and nutrition supports and health care. These are basic human rights, and this system is designed for people to not succeed. This year in the state of Colorado, the increased state share of the cost of Medicaid surpassed K-12 education funding in Colorado for the first time. We are trying to work and raise families in an increasingly hostile environment with social safety nets dropping away. In Saguache County, we have had 3 immigrants disappeared as they came to participate in their court date. This was verified when I called our district attorney, Ann Kelly. One was charged with sexual assault and the victim of that crime will now never see justice. In another of these disappearances, a wife called the court to ask what happened to her husband. He was gone without a phone call to loved ones, just gone. These folks disappeared into unmarked SUVs, as reported to me by the clerk of the court worker who watched from their window. These folks disappeared into unmarked SUVs with ununiformed and masked people taking them away. Thankfully, our Chief Judge, Amanda Hopkins, for Judicial District 12, has issued an order to attempt to prevent this in the future. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on.
1 in 4 Coloradans and 1 in 4 citizens of the San Luis Valley have Medicaid. Our, quote, president initially said he would not cut Medicaid. But after the passage of the federal tax and spending bill, those with Medicaid will need to renew every 6 months, and that is challenging, as Liza clarified. They need to prove that they are working in school or volunteering at least 80 hours a month. And the bill may also disallow Medicaid for certain legal migrants. Also, changes in funding will remove tax credits that help Coloradans pay for insurance through the health insurance marketplace. To top this off, all these changes kick in after the midterms. So it's clear that the authors of the bill knew how unpopular it was going to be. Then there's the issue of more global health. Until recently, only 1% of the federal budget was spent on global aid, and yet that is estimated to have saved 9,000 lives per day in the world. USAID was on the verge of remarkable accomplishments. They were ready to provide an injectable medication to prevent HIV infection that only needed to be administered every 6 months. They were on the verge of providing a 4-dose treatment for tuberculosis. And they were on the verge of providing a combination treatment to reduce hemorrhaging during childbirth in the third world. This is a common cause of women's deaths in the third world. Now, with massive cuts to USAID, we are seeing or will see an increase in TB infection and TB drug resistance, outbreaks of polio, a disease that was almost eradicated from the earth, more HIV infection, and more deaths from AIDS, and an inability to track and contain outbreaks, including Ebola and avian flu. And remember, outbreaks abroad do not stay abroad. What can we do? Continue to educate ourselves from legitimate sources, not social media. Protest, march, and boycott. Speak to friends and neighbors. Tell them which party passed the federal tax and spending bill and why voting is important. Volunteer to get out the vote. Write and call your state and federal representatives. Run for office. Get your flu and COVID shots. Take care of your little piece of the earth. Buy sparingly, reuse, recycle, invest in alternative energy. Support one another and vote a lot.
The constant bombardment of bad news from Washington is taking a toll on all of us. It's exhausting. That's why we must also take care of ourselves, rest when we need to, nourish our bodies and souls so that we can keep standing together through the struggle. But make no mistake, our democracy needs us. Our neighbors, our workers, our children's future, they need us. We have 8 representatives and 2 senators in U.S. Congress. Write to them and demand they stand up for the people's health and welfare before profits for the obscenely rich. Write an op-ed for your local newspaper or an online news source. Keep showing up to rallies like this. Educate yourself on the issues before the Colorado legislature and let Representative Martinez and Senator Simpson know where you stand. And if you're feeling called, like many of you already are, step even deeper into the work. Run for office, join a nonprofit doing good, volunteer in your community. Every act matters. Every voice counts. we can resist the unraveling of our social safety nets, protect those struggling economically, and build the democracy our people deserve. Let us move forward with courage, determination, and action, because the future is not written yet. It is ours to shape. Hey,